Ahoy and blessings, my fellow seekers of wisdom. Welcome to another episode of Quiz the Bible. My name is Benaniah, your steadfast fisherman from the serene shores of Galilee. Today, I've docked my boat and cast my net aside to bring you 21 questions from the good book. Now, before we begin our scriptural voyage together, could I please ask you to navigate your way to the like button and give it a hearty press, drop a comment like a line in the water, and subscribe to join our crew of truth anglers. It would mean more than the biggest catch of the day. So, without further ado, let's dive into the Bible and see if we can't fish out some pearls of wisdom together. Let the quiz begin. Question 1. What type of tree did Jesus curse when he was hungry? Was it A, a fig tree, B, an olive tree, C, an apple tree, or D, a pomegranate tree? Take a moment. That's 10 seconds. The answer was A, a fig tree. Mark 11 verses 13 to 14. Seeing in the distance a fig tree in leaf, he went to find out if it had any fruit. When he reached it, he found nothing but leaves, because it was not the season for figs. Then he said to the tree, "May no one ever eat fruit from you again." And his disciples heard him say it. Question 2. What does the word gospel mean? Was it A, the law of God, B, good news, C, the life of saints, or D, holy teachings? Think carefully now. Time to reveal the answer. The answer was B, good news. Question 3. Who was the author of the book of Revelation? Was it A, Peter, B, Paul, C, John, or D, James? Ponder on it. Time's up. The answer was C, John. Revelation 1 verses 1 to 2. The revelation from Jesus Christ, which God gave him to show his servants what must soon take place. He made it known by sending his angel to his servant John, who testifies to everything he saw, that is, the word of God and the testimony of Jesus Christ. Question 4. What did Jesus use to heal a blind man in the Gospel of John? Was it A, mud and saliva, B, water, C, his cloak, or D, 2 pieces of silver? Have a think. That's time. The answer was A, mud and saliva. John 9 verses 6 to 8. After saying this, he spit on the ground, made some mud with the saliva, and put it on the man's eyes. Go, he told him, wash in the pool of Siloam. This word means sent. So the man went and washed, and came home seeing. His neighbors and those who had formerly seen him begging asked, "Isn't this the same man who used to sit and beg?" Question 5. Who was the father of Jacob? Was it A, Isaac, B, Abraham, C, Lot, or D, Esau? Mull it over. That's 10 seconds. The answer was A, Isaac. Matthew 1 verse 2. Abraham was the father of Isaac, Isaac the father of Jacob, Jacob the father of Judah and his brothers. Question 6. Which apostle was known as the twin? Was it A. Thomas, B. James, C. Peter, or D. John? Time to think. And that's time. The answer was A. Thomas. John 11 verse 16. Then Thomas, who is called the twin, said to his fellow disciples, "Let us also go, that we may die with him." Question 7. Who was the tax collector that climbed a tree to see Jesus? Was it A. Matthew, B. Simon, C. Zacchaeus, or D. Nathanael? Think it over. Time's up. The answer was C. Zacchaeus. Luke 19 verses 2 to 4. Now behold, there was a man named Zacchaeus who was a chief tax collector, and he was rich. And he sought to see who Jesus was, but could not because of the crowd, for he was of short stature. So he ran ahead and climbed up into a sycamore tree to see him, for he was going to pass that way. Question 8. On the road to Damascus, what happened to Saul? Was it A. He wrote his first letter, B. He was crowned as a king, C. He found a hidden treasure, or D. He was struck blind and heard Jesus' voice? Ponder on it. That's time. The answer was D. He was struck blind and heard Jesus' voice. Acts 9 verses 3 to 9. As he journeyed he came near Damascus, and suddenly a light shone around him from heaven. Then he fell to the ground, and heard a voice saying to him, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" And he said, "Who are you, Lord?" Then the Lord said, "I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting. It is hard for you to kick against the goads." So he, trembling and astonished, said, "Lord, what do you want me to do?" Then the Lord said to him, "Arise and go into the city, and you will be told what you must do." And the men who journeyed with him stood speechless, hearing a voice but seeing no one. Then Saul arose from the ground, and when his eyes were opened he saw no one. But they led him by the hand and brought him into Damascus. And he was 3 days without sight, and neither ate nor drank. Question 9. In the Beatitudes, what does it say the meek will inherit? Was it A. Riches, B. The earth, C. Righteousness, or D. The Holy Spirit? Think it over. Time's up. The answer was B. The earth. Matthew 5 verse 5. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Question 10. Which prophet did God command to marry a prostitute? Was it A. Hosea, B. Amos, C. Jonah, or D. Isaiah? Time to think. That's 10 seconds. The answer was A. Hosea. Hosea 1 verse 2. When the Lord began to speak through Hosea, the Lord said to him, "Go, marry a promiscuous woman and have children with her, for like an adulterous wife, this land is guilty of unfaithfulness to the Lord." Question 11. Which of the following is not mentioned as a fruit of the Spirit? Was it A, love, B, gentleness, C, self-control, or D, vengeance? Think for a moment. Time to reveal the answer. The answer was D, vengeance. Galatians 5 verses 22 to 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Question 12. On the road to Emmaus, how did the disciples recognize Jesus? Was it A, by his voice, B, by his appearance, C, when he broke bread, or D, when he performed a miracle? Time to think. And that's time. The answer was C, when he broke bread. Luke 24 verses 30 to 31. Now it came to pass, as he sat at the table with them, that he took bread, blessed and broke it, and gave it to them. Then their eyes were opened and they knew him, and he vanished from their sight. Question 13. Which land was Job living in? Was it A, Haran, B, Uz, C, Jericho, or D, Edom? Ponder on it for a moment. Time's up. The answer was B, Uz. Job 1 verse 1. There was a man named Job, living in the land of Uz, who worshipped God and was faithful to him. He was a good man, careful not to do anything evil. Question 14. Who was the mother of Samuel? Was it A, Hannah, B, Sarah, C, Rachel, or D, Leah? Mull it over. That's 10 seconds. The answer was A, Hannah. 1 Samuel 1 verse 20. So in the course of time, Hannah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel, saying, because I asked the Lord for him. Question 15. Who had a vision of a ladder reaching to heaven? Was it A, Jacob, B, Isaac, C, Abraham, or D, Joseph? Have a think. Time's up. The answer was A, Jacob. Genesis 28 verses 10 to 12. Now Jacob went out from Beersheba and went toward Haran. So he came to a certain place and stayed there all night, because the sun had set. And he took one of the stones of that place and put it at his head, and he lay down in that place to sleep. Then he dreamed, and behold, a ladder was set up on the earth, and its top reached to heaven, and there the angels of God were ascending and descending on it. Question 16. On what did God write the 10 Commandments? Was it A, stone tablets, B, a scroll, C, the walls of a cave, or D, the sky? Think it over. Time to reveal the answer. The answer was A, stone tablets. Exodus 24 verse 12. The Lord said to Moses, Come up to me on the mountain and stay here, and I will give you the tablets of stone with the law and commandments I have written for their instruction. Question 17. Who appeared with Jesus during his transfiguration on a high mountain? Was it A. Isaac and Jacob, B. Elijah and Abraham, C. Jeremiah and Isaiah, or D. Elijah and Moses? Ponder on it. And that's time. The answer was D. Elijah and Moses. Mark 9 verses 2-4. After 6 days Jesus took Peter, James and John with him and led them up a high mountain, where they were all alone. There he was transfigured before them. His clothes became dazzling white, whiter than anyone in the world could bleach them. And there appeared before them Elijah and Moses, who were talking with Jesus. Question 18. What did Jesus heal Simon's mother-in-law of? Was it A. Leprosy, B. Blindness, C. A fever, or D. Paralysis? Time to think. That's 10 seconds. The answer was C. A fever. Luke 4 verses 38-39. Jesus left the synagogue and went to the home of Simon. Now Simon's mother-in-law was suffering from a high fever, and they asked Jesus to help her. So he bent over her and rebuked the fever, and it left her. She got up at once and began to wait on them. Question 19. Who was the man from Cyrene who carried Jesus' cross? Was it A. Simon, B. Joseph, C. John, or D. Barabbas? Think for a moment. Time's up. The answer was A. Simon. Mark 15 verse 21. A certain man from Cyrene, Simon, the father of Alexander and Rufus, was passing by on his way in from the country, and they forced him to carry the cross. Question 20. Who baptized Jesus? Was it A. the eunuch, B. John the Baptist, C. Peter the Apostle, or D. Nicodemus? Time to think. That's time. The answer was B. John the Baptist. Matthew 3 verses 13-17. Then Jesus came from Galilee to the Jordan to be baptized by John. But John tried to deter him, saying, I need to be baptized by you. And do you come to me? Jesus replied, Let it be so now, it is proper for us to do this to fulfill all righteousness. Then John consented. As soon as Jesus was baptized, he went up out of the water. At that moment heaven was opened, and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove and alighting on him. And a voice from heaven said, This is my Son, whom I love, with him I am well pleased. Last question. Question 21. What was the sign of God's covenant with Noah and every living creature? Was it A. an olive branch, B. a dove, C. a star, or D. a rainbow? Time to think. That's 10 seconds. The answer was D. a rainbow. Genesis 9 verses 14-15. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you and all living creatures of every kind. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all life. Well, fellow seamates, that brings our biblical expedition to an end. I hope today's questions have been a good catch for your spirit and mind. If you enjoyed today's quiz, please show your support with a like, share your insights in the comments, and subscribe to stay aboard with us for more biblical voyages. Until next time, keep your lines tight and your hearts open to the words of the good book. This is Benaniah, your friendly fisherman from Galilee, signing off. May calm waters and bountiful catches always be with you. Farewell, and God bless.